Well, good evening, everyone. We're down here still at the Las Vegas Federal Courthouse. Today makes day 9 with jury trial. And we have had a long, eventful day again today. So we will get you some updates here. Here in a little bit, hopefully before I'm done, Andrea Parker and Kelli Stewart, they are over in Seattle, Washington. They're going to have an update for us over there just shortly. They had court. Hello, Don, Kevin, Aaron, Khan, how you doing? Glad to see everybody here. What we're going to talk about today pretty much is what the whole case has been about. We've had how deep does this corruption go? We've been talking to you guys about what all has been left out of the discovery, the government hiding evidence such as the cameras, the snipers on the hill. We went over and over this kind of stuff. The government just released some emails to the defense team. These emails have a lot of redacted stuff in them, so it's hard to read all this redacted stuff. But in these emails, they cannot be read publicly in court. The prosecution is only allowing parts of this to be heard. But with this new email stuff, new evidence of redacted or new of discovery that has been left out all along has been just come out again. So it's pretty interesting. One of the biggest things that is real interesting in this case here in Las Vegas is that one of the members of the prosecution team, Nadia Ahmed, has been on this prosecution team in the last 2 trials. She's one of the prosecutors. She's one of them that prosecuted the last 2 groups. She was involved with the Department of Interior as an attorney back in 2012, 2 years prior to this case coming about. She was not a prosecutor at that time on a federal level, prosecuting this case, but she was on the Department of Department of Justice, DOJ. And what one of the defense attorneys wants to point out today is that this definitely shows an intent to entrap, to set up these defendants from day one, way before 2014, that they was building a case against Mr. Bundy. They wanted to lock him up. So there's evidence to point to that. The prosecution keeps saying things like, we don't have nothing to hide, Your Honor. We are trying to, we'll release it if we know about it. The FBI hasn't disclosed any of this stuff to us. So we don't know of any of these emails. We didn't know about these cameras. We didn't know about the snipers until just now. All this stuff is new to us. And so there's so much stuff like that kind of stuff. Let me go to a couple of things. So we're still on the same witness, Mr. Petrie. He's an attorney, and his client is the BLM. So he works for the federal government. He handles cases for the federal government. He's a federal prosecutor, a federal attorney, not a prosecutor, a federal attorney hired by the federal government to represent his clients, which is the BLM, environmental offices, OSHA, different things like that on a federal level. Them are his clients. That's who he represents. And the conflict of interest here is Mrs. Nadia Ahmed worked with Mr. Petrie way back in 2012 when he started litigating the case with Mr. Bundy. She would be on phone calls with Mr. Petrie and other attorneys when they was trying to kick off Clive and Bundy off the ranch, getting rid of the cows. It seems like definitely a conflict of interest for sure, and it also appears to be an entrapment type case. The defense team has a good case and good evidence to bring that up. What we did learn today, too, is the federal government stated under oath that the federal government doesn't recognize state law. So when they're talking about the cows and the grazing rights and the water rights, they said they did not need a warrant or any court order to evict these trespass cows off of the federal lands. I think I have, let me see here, here I'm going to add Kelli Stewart now. We're going to go with an update with her in Seattle, and I'll finish this update here. See if we can get her on here. We're going to bring Kelli Stewart and Andrea Parker on if it works here. They're in Seattle, Washington right now. And I'm not for sure if I can do this or not. We're trying to add them.
You have to have a long arm for that.
Hi, Andrea.
Hi, guys.
Good to see you.
And we're here, Kelli Stewart and Andrea Parker in Seattle for Skylar's release hearing. Gosh, this is kind of awkward to hold. Here, come over here real quick. So do you want to keep going with your live feed, and then we will just sit down.
Sit down.
We will just talk as you want us to, or how do you want us to do that? Sorry, John.
Let you update if you want what's going on there in Seattle.
Okay, well,
I know
people have been together. I'm totally cutting off my head. People have been together all day. Melina's here. There's a great group here of people.Ey've been together all day since this morning, just hanging out here. And Skylar right now is giving us an entire rundown on his charges and what he came to learn about the law through this process. And it's pretty intriguing to listen to everything he's learned about the law in this process. And I think the main thing he's learned is that the law is very complicated, and it's not something that the average everyday person can just understand. You almost have to hire an attorney if you want to do anything out of the ordinary, like build a gun, because it's so complex and it's so complicated. You just don't know when you're about to break the law.
And also that he, writing his own motions, because he went through a lot of what we're seeing people who go through in Nevada, where they're appointed a lawyer, that lawyer's not doing what you want, or not doing anything at all, not communicating. So it sounds like he went through 3 different lawyers and was working on his own behalf, and he ran into case law and things of where you're in the courtroom and the law is basically decided by other cases. A lot of what we're seeing happen down in Nevada, and the law's written with a bunch of loopholes that they can use against you at your will. And so, we're already set up as people against the system because it's not explained to us properly. It's written out that only lawyers can understand, so you're not able to understand it. And then there's so many loopholes that they're like, yeah, you abide by this part, but this over here you haven't, and we're going to turn around and do that against you. We saw this morning, we showed up at CTAC, and they were letting some people park in the parking lot, and other people weren't allowed to park in the parking lot. And as soon as Skylar's mom got there, they told us we all had to go. And so definitely a different atmosphere. When we parked in the parking lot, there was a gentleman walking around the parking lot with a shotgun that let us stay there for a couple minutes, and so that we could get Skylar outside. And we spent the whole day with him, kind of going from place to place so other people can come, and it's absolutely been amazing.
Well, that sounds good. I bet you he's glad to be out. This is his first day out today, so some fresh air, getting to hug his mom, and having so much support there. That's awesome.
Absolutely. We're going to see if we can bring it in and have him say...
He's been kind of iffy on the live.
Okay. He's actually not wanting to go on the live stream as of yet. When these guys first get out, it's still like, you're out of prison, but you have all of these rules and regulations. You don't know how everything's going, and so it's difficult. There's a lot of time it takes to kind of get back into the swing of things, and so he's going to take that time.
Well, that sounds great. I guess, how are you and Eric doing? I know a lot of people probably want to know.
We're, happily, Eric's mother lives here in Seattle, And so we're here for a couple days, and we're going to be down in Reno visiting with my family for Thanksgiving. It's really great. So many family want to see us, and we're getting back to it. But I can tell you, I miss all you guys down in Nevada, and I'm definitely missing everyone there. Here, you want to come and sit down and say hi. We've got Eric who's just saying, how are we doing?
Hi, Eric.
Hey, John.
Hi, brother.
How you doing?
Good to see. I'm doing good. Good to see you. I'm glad that you're not in this courtroom this time.
Yeah, it's nice. So am I.
I miss you, but I'm glad you're where you're at.
Yeah, I need to see you too. I miss you too. Thanks everybody for the support.
I tell you what. You're welcome anytime. I stand behind you 100%. So.
Yeah, you always have. I love you, brother.
Love you too. I tell you what, we've had some interesting things here. If we had the evidence that has been brought into this case so far, you wouldn't have had a case last time. You got deprived. You didn't have a fair trial. And we're seeing that right now with everything that's getting brought in because of Cliven Bundy, and the Bundys should have had their trial first because we wouldn't have had any more trials after that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it was 11-1 to acquit. You know, if that one person would have seen the snipers surrounding the house, and all the things we wanted to talk about that we weren't allowed to, it very possibly and most likely would have swayed that one juror. But that's not the way it worked out, and we'll wait for this one to come through and see if there's anything we can do about it. But you know, I don't think there is.
Hopefully there won't have to be a third trial, though. You know, they only put these guys first because they wanted convictions before they went into the Bundy trial.
That didn't work too well, did it?
No, it didn't. After what happened in Oregon, they thought, oh, it'd be easy to get convictions on the gun charges. And what these guys did was so right, based on what the government was doing, that they could not even get convictions with an unfair trial and the scary guns.
Well, this time, you know, they're allowing all of that to be brought in at the very first. The jurors got to hear everything in opening statements. They got to hear about the snipers, the guns, the video cameras. They seen Margaret Houston getting thrown to the ground. All in the very first day, the jurors got to see all of this. We're in day 9 now, and we're only on our second witness. It's been a struggle to get to here. It's really interesting to see how it's unfolding. It's going slow, but we're getting a lot of progress each day.
That's good. It does go slow. They like to talk.
Yes, they do. And this time, what we've had this time, because of so much evidence that has been allowed to be in, the defense is actually questioning the witnesses longer than the prosecutors. So we still have, Mr. Whipple is still cross-examining our second witness, and he's been at it for several hours this afternoon, and we're still not finished. He's not with that witness. So we're going to continue with that second witness tomorrow.
Wow.
That's good. He needs to just hammer away. Keep driving nails.
Yes, he does. And then the judge yesterday made a ruling that they couldn't make no more objections in front of the jurors. Well, the defense did that today. They didn't make any objections in front of the jurors, but the prosecutors have been objecting over and over again in front of the jurors, and Mr. Whipple keeps reminding them, well, I thought your ruling was, Your Honor, that we wasn't going to object in front of the jurors. And he says this in front of the jurors.
That's good. So, he needs to call them out. That's good.
He does.
What did she do to them? Did she start getting on them for doing that in front of the jurors?
She didn't. She kind of brushed it to the side and says, well, just phrase your statement, Mr. Whipple. Just rephrase it. And then he would object to that. They've got Mr. Sheese this time. Daniel Sheese is a new prosecutor. So this Daniel Sheese has been the main one speaking so far. And he'll object to what the judge just ruled. So it's very interesting. It's been a slow, hard process to get anything out of the witness, but we're getting there.
Well, you know, what I've always said is any lie will fall apart the more questions that you ask. And it sounds like these lawyers are definitely asking the questions.
Yes, they definitely, and the jurors are asking questions too. So we get that opportunity again for the jurors to ask the witness questions. And it's just like last time. It's really revealing. We can see what these jurors are thinking, and so far it's looking really good.
That's good.
That was my favorite part, was the jury questions. I at first thought that was going to be a bad thing, and I'm so glad that they are continuing that into this trial, because it means the most.
It does. It does. It is a more relaxed courtroom this time. The defendants are allowed to talk to each other. They actually turn around and they look at us in the audience observing. So she hasn't actually did anything to any of the defendants inside the courtroom at all this time. She's allowed them a lot more freedom than what Eric and Scott and Stephen and Ricky had,
Yeah, they see the error in their ways of they're trying to act benevolent and nice in front of the jury, and they realize that they may have had something to do with those decisions made by the jurors last time.
Definitely. Well, I'm glad you guys got to see Skylar out over there, and that's always a rejoiceful moment when one more guy gets out. We can tick him off of our list for guys in jail.
Absolutely. There's good days and bad days, and when the prosecution is going down there, sometimes those days can be bad, and it's days like today up here with Skylar that really get us to continue going through this, because sometimes it can be very difficult.
Yes, that's right. Well, do you all have anything else to say?
I'm going to let Kelli step in again here for a second. Did you have something else?
I don't think I have anything else to add, and those two look really cute in front of the camera, so I'll just let you them.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks, guys.
Well, if that's it, thanks a lot. If that's it, I'll sign off, and I'll look forward to seeing you sometime soon.
Yeah. See
Yeah.
you again soon, John.
We love you.
Thanks. See you later.
Bye, guys.
Oh, guys, that's Andrea Parker and Eric Parker, and also Kelli Stewart over in Seattle, Washington. Skylar got released today, so that was good news. They're all over there spending some time with him, and so it's I'm really happy for their family. Skylar got time served, and his time ended today from his plea agreement that he agreed to back in his trial. So he is officially released. We do have court tomorrow again. We are starting early here because of some of the objections and arguments that were here in court. So we start at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. The jurors are not coming in at least until 9 o'clock. The prosecution has been objecting to a lot of stuff today, trying to keep a lot of evidence in. They do not want nothing about the water rights mentioned. In this case here in Las Vegas, they say it has nothing to do with the case, it's irrelevant. So they're trying to keep out a lot of stuff. The prior court civil matters about trying to get the cows trespass stuff off of the land. They're trying to object to a lot of those questions. And right now we are just on our second witness in 9 days. We picked the jurors. It took us 3 days between all the motions and other court hearings we had. We're on day 9 here, and we're only on the second witness here. So this case is progressing very slowly, and we're already in the middle of November here, and we were supposed to start this case, if you remember right, back the October the 10th. So we're a month and a half past the day we were supposed to start. So if this case continues, it looks like we're going to be at least to the end of February or into March before it's over with the way it's going at this moment. But we hope not, but that's what they're saying. Other than that, like I said earlier, the big news is this information that came out about Mrs. Nadia Omed, one of the assistant prosecutors that has sat in this courtroom prosecuting the last 2 trials and this trial, along with Stephen Myrie and Daniel Sheese. She was working for the Department of Justice, Department of Interior, back in 2012. and she was on the ground on 2014 at the Bundy Ranch, meeting with the FBI, meeting with the BLM. And Mr. Whipple says this is definitely a case that looks to him like it's been set up. It's an entrapment case at the very least. And so we're going to see where this goes. We have a lot of arguments in the morning to figure out where we're going to go tomorrow. But so we'll have you some more updates tomorrow on all this. I've got one announcement. I got Ken Rhodes with me again. Ken Rhodes talked to, was it Morgan Philpott?
Yeah, Morgan.
Morgan Philpott today. And the Morgan Philpott and Rick Kerber come all the way from Salt Lake City. They are helping Ammon Bundy. These are not paid attorneys like the other attorneys here are. The rest of them are attorneys that are being paid by the federal government. They're government attorneys. And these, he's an attorney that's fighting for Ammon Bundy. Ammon Bundy requested that he be a part of this. He needs financial support to keep going here. Just to be out of town, it costs thousands of dollars for him to be here. And how you can donate to Ammon Bundy is AmmonBundyDefense.com. And Ken wanted me to remind you that. I'll let Ken talk just a minute because he's the one who's been bringing this up. There you go, Ken.
Okay. And, just go to AmmonBundyDefense.com because Morgan Philpott's not getting paid one penny except what people donate. So he does need the money. You know, he's doing, and this guy is a fighter. I feel like we got a very good, all the attorneys are working together here. They're helping each other and everything. So I think that we will win this case. I don't see any reason why we won't. And also, I'm sitting in John's car with him. I looked at his speedometer. He's got 179,000 miles on it. If y'all got any extra money, John refuses to ask. But when the car breaks down, I've seen him get up at 4 in the morning, go to the airport, take people and drop them off, pick them up, because everybody calls John when they need a ride from the airport. So he does need fuel, and I know I asked for him the other day, and I'm going to ask again for you. So if any of you got any extra money, please send it to John also. Thank you.
Thanks a lot there, Ken. So Ken Rhodes, I seen a comment on here that came on here that said the Orange Hat Man. So Ken Rhodes, he was at the Bundy Ranch on the 14th there of or April 12th, 2014. He actually fell down the embankment there. Right. And he's a potential witness in this case. He is supposed to testify at some point. He actually testified in one of the last trials, but it never got admitted in front of the jurors. So we're hoping this time that his testimony be used. Last time the government tried to strike his testimony. They did not want it heard. But this time he has a good chance to testify. We have a long list. There was 1,245 potential witnesses on this list this time. We know we won't near use all of those witnesses, but we expect to use a lot. I would guess you 40 or 50 witnesses at least if we can get those in. We're on the second government witness, and we have 2 to 3 more witnesses we're going to try to shove in tomorrow or Wednesday, but we don't know yet. We'll see. But we'll be back here tomorrow at 8 a.m. in the morning, give you another update at noon. So join us again tomorrow, and we'll see what happens for tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. God bless, and we'll see you tomorrow.